love you. You should let me love you forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
Happy Wednesday! Welcome to TMW Online. I'm Linda. That's Abby. We are covering all things 90 Day to Single Life, Season 5. We are on Episode 2. We're catching up. And this episode is the act of tinseling, which is very appropriate. Very appropriate, you guys. I'm all in. And you may have seen us yesterday. You may have seen us cover Episode 1 of Season 5. And when I say the blueprint is back for all things 90 days, the blueprint is back. I'm all in. I'm all invested. It's very entertaining. Although, you know, some of the people I could do without. And dear TLC, could we have a warning? Is that possible? Like, we're bringing so-and-so on so that I can mentally prepare myself for what I'm about to see on my screen. If that's something you guys can do, go ahead and handle that. That being said, don't forget to like and subscribe, you guys. We are expanding. Make sure you follow Abby, myself, all across social media. We're everywhere. TMW Online has launched on Facebook and on Instagram, so we would appreciate a follow. And what were your overall thoughts, Abby, of this episode 2?
Moving the pace right along. Like, we got so much information in the first one. I thought maybe they're going to drag it a little bit, but nope. We got a lot of information in this one too. Just a little bit shorter than the first one, which is fine. But yeah, we're chugging right along. All right, let's jump right into it. Pedro wants a relationship with Sophie. Like, he has decided in his mind that that's his woman. He wants her to be the forever woman, forever. But finds out that, you know, she slept with her ex-husband, well, soon to be ex-husband, Rob, just a few months ago. And he is floored by this because he wants to treat her like a princess. He wants to treat her like a queen, but it really is up to her to really like invest and be committed to this quote unquote relationship. Mm-hmm. But he wants to do whatever it takes to win her over. Now, I hear this a lot from a lot of my guy friends. I see it on social media and all this stuff. Abby, I do want to ask your opinion on this. Oftentimes, men want what they think they can't have or what someone else has. For example, you know, when you're single and it's like, oh, it's harder to meet people. Like, why is that? But then as soon as you start dating someone, an ex from the past comes through, so you meet someone else and then you're torn. It's that. Right. Mm-hmm. So Pedro was already all in, right? Because she visually is everything that he wants. Or so he thinks. And now that he's found out that, oh, she might, you know, be hooking up with her ex and all of that stuff, he wants her even more. Do you think that that's weird? Do you think that that's normal? What do you think? Well, Pedro told us all these physical things that he loved about Sophie, and he did not tell us anything about her personality that was attracting him. So we know that whatever it is that he wants is in like a collection sense and a property sense, not in a I want to get to know you, invest in you, learn more about your opinions and your feelings and your thoughts sense. So it does make sense if somebody else has this particular property that he wants, this particular toy he wants, that he would want it more. It makes sense in that way, but not in the way of a relationship or a person.
Right. And you're being very analytical and reasonable. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not that way, right? And specifically men. Men are visual. They're gonna like, that's what I want. That like look at the society we're in right now. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm not surprised either. Here's something else that was really concerning to me for this episode 2. So Pedro comes up to Liz and he's like, hey, you know, like, is Sophie cool with me? Like, is it going to go the long haul? Does she like me? And Liz innocently, you guys. There was no malice in this. And this is how rumors get started. And this is exactly what happened here, where fights get started because it goes through the grapevine, and from the beginning to end, throw in like some language barrier and it can be a mess. So Liz innocently says, well, she loves that you're the first guy to buy her flowers, and you're so kind, and you're so considerate, and you're sweet, respectful, and romantic. And he's like, well, should I get serious about her? And she's like, well, yeah, but she's still healing. That's what she said. She's still healing, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the issues and that's all this woman said. Okay. That is all it said. It was a very short, less than 2-minute conversation. She didn't share any secrets that Sophie feels like she told her. She said the truth. She said she loves the fact that you've been romantic and respectful and flowers and all of the things, but she is still healing. And as any friend, I would think that they would do the same thing. I would do the same thing for you, Abby. Hey, you know what? My friend loves you. She thinks you're cool. She wants to kick it with you. She thinks you're amazing. You've done all these great things for her. But, don't forget that she's still healing. She's literally just getting out of something. And also, she's not even fully divorced. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no, in my opinion, nowhere did she betray the girl code.
I didn't think so either. I went back and watched it to make sure there was nothing that I missed. And, unfortunately, I think that Pedro just misunderstood what she was saying. However, I do think the result should have been the same. I think the result is fine. They don't need to be together. They have mismatched alignment, but there was nothing that Liz said that was bad.
Right. And I also think that Pedro, not only did he misunderstand, I think he took it a step further because his feelings were hurt when he found out that Sophie was still sleeping with Rob, right? So he added his hurt feelings and converted what he heard to what he wanted to say.
Right. There are multiple things that Pedro misunderstood.
But again, not just misunderstood, right?
Took it too far, yeah.
He took his feelings into account, and instead of communicating, because one of the things that is lacking in this Sophie Pedro budding relationship is communication. Communicate. They see the visual, they're attracted to each other, they're caught up in that like hot and heavy, but they're actually not communicating with each other, and they're not communicating their wants and their needs, their expectations, and what they see moving on in the future. And if you've been with our channel at any point in time, all of these conversations are conversations that we encourage you to have. You have to talk about money. You have to talk about finance. You have to talk about sex. You have to talk about children. You have to talk about religion, all of these things. And that's not happening with these two. They see each other. They have goo-goo eyes. They have a great time. And then they have problems. So
I agree.
When people continue to ask Liz, does she want this? Again, Liz is like, well, she's at the beginning stages of her breakup of a relationship and she's still healing. And so Pedro in his mind is like, well, is she not ready for a relationship? Because in his mind, he thought that they were already in a relationship. And guys are very transactional like that, right? So he's thinking he's hung out with her before. They've had a great time. They've traveled together before. So he's dating her. He's not inviting her to the Dominican Republic as some like random, this is a second date. No, he thinks that's his woman. So that was the issue. Then we find out that Liz, because Liz is doing her own single thing as well. Via's number she got the night before, and that's Pedro's friend, and they really hit it off. And so she's looking forward to seeing what that looks like. And we talked about it yesterday. That's vacay bay. And I'm so glad, Abby, that in Liz's mind, this is vacay bay. She wants to have a good time. She's never going to see him again, but she wants to have a good time. I am so proud that she's seeing it that way.
Right. And I hope that's how she maintains it.
Correct. So The same thing that I've continued to hear Sophie say over and over again, and even in her relationship with Rob, is that she's overwhelmed. She feels pressure. She needs Pedro in this situation to take things a bit slower. But Pedro really thinks that that's his woman, that they'd be great together, and that they should be together and just full steam ahead. How did you not have this conversation? And we talked about it a little bit yesterday, Abby, where how are you saying yes to a trip to the Dominican Republic? How are you saying yes to a $2,000 necklace? How are you saying yes to, me chauffeuring a van for you to get around the island? All these things. He's thinking he's doing this for you exclusively. He's not thinking that he's dating you and you're dating other people and he's dating other people. Am I wrong in that thought? What are your thoughts, Abby?
No, I think the same thing. There are a lot of people who think it's okay to accept the benefits of a relationship just because, like, oh, the person hasn't said that they want to be exclusive. They haven't said that they're looking for anything in particular. But we're both adults, they're both adults. If you know that person is looking for something that you cannot provide them, then I think that every step of the way that you should just be clarifying before you accept large gifts. Before we come to the Dominican Republic, hey, let's have a talk about who we are, how we're going to have our arrangements while we're there, what our expectations are from each other, just to make sure that nobody's disappointed, right? I think that they both have that responsibility. And while I don't think that it's okay for Pedro to make the assumption, I do think that Sophie should have clarified. William Sonoma said he thinks that Pedro is okay, but Sophie was immature. I actually think that they're both immature in the dating style that's happening right now. He shouldn't be so hot and heavy with someone that he hasn't clarified the status of their relationship. And Sophie shouldn't be accepting so many gifts and trips and so forth if she is just seeing this as just dating. Because that's, to me, this is not normal. A normal dating practice with not being exclusive is not taking a trip out of the country with somebody, to me.
Listen, there's a lot of problematic stuff. Let's shout out our live chat. Raydella, Tina, William. Hey, those are the most active. We appreciate you guys being here. Here's the thing with Sophie that I don't understand. I feel like she flip-flops, and it's exactly what happened in the Rob situation. She wants it, she doesn't want it. She wants it, she doesn't want it. And it becomes toxic. And I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit later. But again, she's saying that she feels pressured. So she's overwhelmed, she's pressured. She likes Pedro, she wants to get to know him, but she also wants him to chill, right? So what is it? You want him, you don't want him, you want to date him, you don't want to date him. They meet up for the morning. They're going to have like breakfast or brunch or whatever together, just the two of them. And we talked about this yesterday. I do think in long distance relationship, you guys, it's really important to have time alone with the partner so that you can connect. You are on a limited time, and having your friends involved and family involved, and all, it can get very convoluted, and you don't have that one-on-one time where you really need to reconnect and make sure that this is something that you both want to move forward with. That being said, he sees her, she has her sexy outfit on. He's like, you look amazing as always. They both felt that the night before was awkward. He mentions that he talked to Liz, and he says that Liz said, are you sure she wants to be with you? Nowhere in that conversation did Liz say that, but that's what translated in Pedro's mind, because Pedro was already feeling insecure because Pedro found out that Sophie is still hooking up with Rob. Mm-hmm. So his ego is bruised. So that's how he translated it. And he literally said it made him feel insecure about how things are going, and insecure about all the things that he's been doing for her. He translated it in that he should be careful, guard his feelings, because perhaps there's another guy involved that he doesn't know about. Nowhere in the conversation that was literally 2 minutes long did Liz say any of those things. What happened here is Pedro translated all his insecurities and started blaming Liz or using her as an excuse to communicate the insecurities that he was already feeling after he spent time with Sophie. Absolutely wrong. Because again, want to recap, all Liz says was, A, Sophie loves that you buy her flowers, the first guy to buy flowers for her. She loves that you're respectful, you're sweet, you're romantic, but she's in the beginning stages of her separation and she's healing. Literally, I wrote it down. Those are the 5 things that she said. Nowhere in there did she say that he should be careful, that there was another guy, that he should be insecure about the things that he's been doing for her. None of that. Absolutely zero. And then that's what my note says. That's not what happened. So now Sophie's pissed off. She feels like Liz broke the girl code. And that's not what happened. Because it's not. Right. And also, you two were both looking for reasons to have like drama, by the way, in my opinion, because you're not communicating. You're just looking at each other thinking, oh, I think you're hot. Oh, I think you're hot. And that's it. There's nothing deeper. We find out here that Pedro's looking for a serious relationship and Sophie's still trying to figure out what she wants. That you're not equally yoked. You guys are not on the same page. You know, Pedro's 33, Sophie's 26. She keeps saying how she's been in a relationship her whole adult being. And so she doesn't know what she wants. Now, I personally, Abby, don't think it's fair to start dating someone and acting like you're interested to get to know them for the long term when you don't know what you want. Why are you out there dating? Because people don't just date randomly normally. They date to meet someone that they can share their life with. What are your thoughts?
Same thing. And just to remind you guys, when we met Sophie, she was just discovering that she was bisexual. And at that point, she was still saying she didn't know what she wanted and she didn't know how that would work out with her marriage to Rob, right? So, Sophie, it is time for you to be truly, truly, truly single. And I don't mean single in terms of just dating other people. I mean single in terms of getting to know yourself. Because you're just going to keep wasting other people's times, even if it's a casual dating scenario, because you just don't know what you want on your own. Just 100%. Take some time to get to know yourself, get settled into where you're going to live, at least for the next couple of years, to take yourself out on a couple of dates, travel by yourself, because you are just so confusing.
100% agreed. 100%. So confusing. So confusing. And it's a bit toxic. And again, I'm going to get back to that shortly. So Pedro's looking for a serious relationship. He thought that they were exclusive. She goes on to say during this breakfast date that no, go ahead and date other people. If you meet someone and they're ready to settle down and have children and all of what you're looking for, don't wait on me to be ready. And then he's like, oh, so you want me to date? Are you going to date? And she's like, well, I'm single. So I'm allowed to do whatever I want. Shocking to him. And his feelings were hurt and his ego was bruised because that is not the conversation I know that they've ever had. So he said, you told me you were healed. And she said, no, I never had that conversation. Now, here's the thing. I believe him, Abby. I believe in the moment, Sophie thought she was healed. But she wasn't. But oftentimes we can tell ourselves one thing that's not true. And then when an X pops up, you really do see how far you healed or you have not healed.
Mm-hmm.
Rob reaches out to her or she reaches out to Rob, whatever happened. And now they're talking again and now they're being intimate again. That's the sign of someone not being healed. Because if you are really over someone, even if they're ex, you don't want to be with them anymore.
No, and you have no reason to be communicating with him. You guys have no children in common. You have no property that you need to deal with. Your divorce can proceed through your attorneys. You have no reason to be in communication.
Right. And so here is the conundrum of it all. She thinks she's not giving him mixed signals. I'm promising you right now, as the third party watching, you're absolutely giving him mixed signals. And this is not the first time that I've seen it.
Right. I think coming to the DR for a family function is a mixed signal.
Coming to the DR for a family function, accepting a $2,000 necklace when you're trying to tell this man that you're free to do whatever you want and you're dating other people and you're not exclusive, accepting him, chartering a van for your whole entire trip for you and all of your friends, going on other trips with him and meeting up with him and telling the world that, oh, you didn't know the intricacies of his and Chantel's relationship. So you're not going to take time to figure out the backstory, but you already know that he is a relationship type of guy. Stop playing. That's mixed signals.
Right. Sophie. You got to grow up.
Pedro says, great. If you need time to heal, then go and heal. But why are you here in the DR with me? I'm not a doctor and I'm not a healer. And I was like, you know what? That is super valid. 100% valid.
Mm-hmm. And what you need to do next time, Pedro, is before extending invitations like this and before buying large gifts, you need to say, would you like to be exclusive with me? I'd like to be exclusive with you. Or something else, like verbalize what your expectations are. Don't just expect that if somebody accepts certain things, then that's your status.
You gotta, you know what? Men in general, yes, you like the aesthetics, but you almost have to use your words and communicate what you're looking for. Because no one is a mind reader and you don't know what that other person is looking for either. So if you don't communicate it, then how are you going to know?
Right.
How are you going to know? Do you want to add anything else before I move on to Kimberly?
The only thing I have to add about Sophie and Pedro is once you sat at that table, Sophie, and he says, I'm looking for a relationship, and you know you're not ready for it, leave him alone. You don't need to reach out to him anymore. You don't need to explain yourself anymore. It's done. And okay, you have a misunderstanding of what exactly Liz said, but at this point, it doesn't matter because you guys are incongruent with each other. So just move on.
Agreed. It's not fair to string people around, you guys. You're wasting your time and you're wasting their time. And you're also playing with people's emotions, and that never ends well.
No. Bad karma.
Bad karma. Kimberly, so I'm still in shock y'all. Episode 1 was out the gate with the drama, the babies and the adoptions and the other babies and the other story. Oh, Lord. So Jamal's back at the house. He doesn't feel bad for his mom. Doesn't feel bad that Larry's coming and all of the things, and she has to confront Larry and tell Larry some more truths that she's been hiding because she hasn't been 100% honest with him. Jamal doesn't feel bad. He feels like it's her fault, and he's still holding a lot of animosity and resentment and trust issues towards his mom, who he's always been very close to. And just to recap, Larry is Kimberly's first child that she had at 21, and she put him up for adoption. Same mom, dad, as Jamal. And one of the things that Jamal is struggling with, you guys, is that it's not only that he learned just last year that he has an older brother, but he also has an older sister. So there are multiple siblings. And it's really hard for him to understand because he grew up thinking he was an only child. And so now he's wrestling with the fact that he has an older brother that he just met last year. And he has a sister that Kimberly put up for adoption just a year later. So when she was 21, she got pregnant with Larry and put him up for adoption. And when she was 22, a year later, she had a daughter who's been unnamed thus far up for adoption. And Kimberly says in this episode that she doesn't regret what she did. So she doesn't regret putting up those kids for adoption because she feels like she wasn't ready. But she's not happy with it either. Now, This is like a whole conversation that we probably could have hours upon hours of discussion about. I think that the conversation of birth mothers and your choice uh, is valid here. I do think for me, the part that is really interesting to me is we touched upon it a little bit yesterday, Abby, where we talked about like how open should you be about any skeletons in your closet before you go on a reality TV show. And as I was watching this episode, I was like, I think that the daughter doesn't want to have anything to do with this, and that's why she continues to be unnamed.
Hmm.
And we just keep hearing that there was a daughter. There's no name, there's no location, there's no backstory. There's just another child. And that's fair, right? Privacy. And, if you didn't grow up with this person and you don't know anything about it, can you imagine being thrust into the limelight? And, 90 Day Fiance fandom is not for the weak of heart.
Hmm.
So I can respect that if that's the case. I don't know if that's the case, but the fact that they're so very general and not very specific like they normally are, my assumption is that she wanted nothing to do with this. What are your thoughts, Abby?
That's exactly what I'm thinking, that perhaps she has some anger about being given away, because we talked about the fact that these are full blood siblings. And to find out that your mom decided to keep one of you, but give the others of you away when all of them are born into the exact same situation is probably a very hurtful thing that, everyone cannot be expected to be able to just get over. Um, the other thing that I was thinking is she might have some judgment against her mother for having multiple children with the same deadbeat dad.
And
Like this is not somebody that it's like you have kids with and they change. This is someone who you got pregnant by and they told you, I am not interested in having any children with you, being a family with you whatsoever. And then you repeated that same thing twice over.
And so I guess my question too, one of my questions would be, I mean, that's your husband, I get it. But if you feel you're not ready to have children and bring children into the world and care for them, why are you guys not taking precautions when you're being intimate? So I get it, that's your husband. Maybe you don't want to use a condom, whatever, but there's just so many options for women.
Right.
I don't understand how you get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm pregnant again, and I'm just going to do the same thing over. Like, what was the mindset there? I guess is my question, right? Because
We'd have to, because also with her being in the military, she had full access to medical care. One thing the military will do for women, because if you guys don't know, women in the military have very high percentages of SA compared to the general population. So one thing that they do is give you preventative care to prevent pregnancy. They're pretty free with that because they know what you're going to be into when you're in that environment, and that's including when you're in the United States and when you're on overseas tours. So I would love to have a non-blamey conversation with Kim where she can enlighten us into what she was going through for other people to be able to figure their way out of those situations that
100%.
led her to have 3 pregnancies with someone who was actively telling her that they did not want to have children with her, did not want to be a father.
100%. And this is a teaching moment, right? Because there's going to be a ton of young females coming up in the military specifically. There are a ton of young women who do not have strong female leads in their life. So this is a really teachable moment, and learning from our mistakes and moving on is the most important. So, and that's why I asked the question, because I think that oftentimes as women, we're scared to have those conversations, but it's important to have those conversations because it will enlighten someone. And even if it's just one person, that's one person that is like, you know what? I'm going through that and now I know. And that's what it's about.
Mm.
That being said, Jamal knew about his sister. He found out when he was 12 because he overheard Kimberly talking to her mom about the daughter. And he is holding on to resentment because he feels like she had all these years that she could have told him the truth, but she was hiding the truth. And she's been hiding the truth for very long. And so he not only not trusts her, but he has some anger and resentment that has built up into this situation as well. He also wants to be there. So what we find out is Larry and his family are going to come and visit both Kimberly and Jamal in San Diego to see, you know, how she grew up in her life and all of that. And Jamal wants to be there when Kimberly tells Larry about this third child, right? The daughter, because he doesn't believe that she's going to tell Larry the truth.
Mhm.
And he literally says he wants to be there to make sure Kim tells the truth because he is feeling very protective of his older brother that he just met last year. And it's because that he does not trust Kimberly anymore. And I just felt like that is so sad, right?
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
relationship, we've seen how close they are. They've been ride or die for everything. They're each other's biggest cheerleaders. And now to break that trust, I know he's hurting. And the anger and resentment is all coming from her because that was his person,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And there's time will heal some of the wounds, but discussion and building but trust, because you guys, breaking trust is hard, right? People
Mhm.
just give it to you freely, and when you break it, it's really hard to gain that trust
Mhm.
back.
Mhm. It sounds like she's already lied to Larry, because if you find your birth mom, I imagine one of the first questions you're going to ask is, do I have any other siblings? So in those conversations that they've had, she must have said no, because otherwise, why does it need to be something that she needs to bring up and tell him the truth about now? Right?
That's
So she must
interesting.
have already lied to him. And so now, because he found Jamal, or he thinks he found Jamal online, you know, and so he gets to speak to Kim. And first question is, one of the first questions, you know, what was the situation with my dad? Do you have his contact information? Do I have any other siblings? Do I have any nieces and nephews? Those are like basic questions that would have come up in the first 2 or 3 conversations, right? But
But
because it, mhm.
but he didn't know he was talking to her. He
Right.
thought he was talking to Jamal,
Right.
right?
But then at some point, so you guys didn't see the little behind the scenes takeout. Another reason why Jamal is mad at Kimberly is because Larry, the brother, initially contacted who he thought was Jamal, but it was really Kimberly pretending to be Jamal for a long time until she finally just couldn't make up any more excuses on them meeting in person. Then she finally told Larry, actually, it's me, your mom, you've been talking to me. And then she also told Jamal what she had been doing. And so at that point, when it's like, okay, now you know that I'm Kimberly, I'm your mom. Okay, where do I have any other siblings?
Mm-hmm.
Right? One of the first several questions. But it seems to me like Kim is so divorced from her role in these people's lives that she's just trying to do as little as possible. She's not the kind of person who's like, "Oh my gosh, I have grandchildren. I want to meet them. I want to meet your wife. I want to meet my daughter-in-law." She's not coming off like that to me. She's coming off more like, as little as I can have this be a part of my life, that's what I want, because I don't want it destroying my life with Jamal. And so it seems to me like, instead of it being like, oh my God, my world could be expanding right now and I could have so much more love. Instead of that, it's like she's putting up this brick, and she's pushing, pushing, pushing against any more revelations coming out, against any expansion in her life. and Larry's just like peeking around it. Like he's just coming around it in edges, and Jamal's holding on to him and pulling him across.
Yeah, that can be true. And I again, I don't know what the situation is like, but I do know, if you have a secret and you've held that secret for a long time and that secret gets out, there has to be like some shame and like trepidation towards it and wrapping your mind around it. So yeah, I don't know. What I do know is Kim says she wants these 3 things: to build trust back with Jamal, to have a relationship with Larry, and to find love. And then my questions, just to jump off of what Abby said, because these are the questions that I wrote down. Well, what about Larry's kids, aka your grandkid? Do you want to have a relationship with them? Because you have a grandkid now, which is literally your full bloodline. Do you want to know anything about Larry's wife and how they got together and how long they've been together? And then again, I know I talked about the daughter, but you haven't even mentioned the daughter. So you said Jamal, Larry, love. Not the grandbaby, not the daughter-in-law, and not your other daughter. And even if the daughter doesn't want to be a part of this show, it's something that, is that not in your mind? And why are we not talking about that? Why are we not, like, you mentioned her, so it's something.
And I personally don't like the concept of letting people show up somewhere in person so you could spring information on them. I hate that let's wait till we see you in person approach to things. So, what would have been better for me is at the point Jamal says, no, I want to be there when you talk to Larry to make sure you tell the truth. If you're really interested in building back your trust with Jamal, I would have said, let's sit down right now and try and call Larry. I cannot stand the wait till the person arrives somewhere and then drop information on them. Like, give me an opportunity to digest this information. And then when I come to see you in person, to have the best visit possible. Don't drop news like that on my visit.
I do think, though, there are some conversations that have to be had in person because it doesn't translate in text and it doesn't translate over the phone. So I do see that part too. But I
then
get
tell me it's coming.
Yeah.
Tell me it's coming. Let me, you guys, if there is something that's very hard for you to talk about, don't just ignore it. Tell the other person involved or the other people involved, there is something that I need to share, but I'm not ready to share it yet. I hope that you can bear with me while I figure out how to get this information to you. Don't leave people in the dark or just give them a really quick answer to something that's more complicated. Be more honest with yourself and the people that you're dealing with.
Yeah, agreed. Do you want to add anything else before we move on to Courtney?
That's all I got for Kimberly. Let's go to Courtney and Colty.
Oh, God.
And listen, I know that you hate so many things about what's happening right now.
I just want to, it's just not fair. You can't spring some, like, y'all, Gino and Colt in the same season back to back. It is a lot. It's a lot. A lot. And when I'm sitting minding my own business, giggling and looking at like all the notes, and yeah, maybe I'm talking about Kimberly or I'm talking about Pedro and Sophie. Those are like normal day-to-day relationship stuff. Then you shock me. You got one with the nervous energy all over the place that I'm just trying to relax and be entertained. And then you have this fool that I don't understand, y'all. I don't understand it. I don't. Okay.
Whew.
Here I go. Courtney, 34. She lives with her parents because she feels it's better than living with any other roommate. And I'm not mad at you, Courtney, because you know what? Roommates are terrible. Don't recommend. Highly, 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 highly terrible. Highly terrible. I have so many roommate stories. So glad that that's behind me. what I think is funny, and I think Courtney is a sweetheart. She really does come across as a sweetheart. And I've always been a fan since the first season, and I'm actually glad she's on The Single Life. I used to like say, we need Courtney on The Single Life. So I'm glad she's on it. Not super happy that she ended up with Colt, but that is another conversation. I think it's funny that she loves living the retirement lifestyle with her family. Like, she is chilling. I was like, does she have a job? She's like, yeah, I'm like doing like facials and we go golfing and living on a golf course, and my mama does my laundry and the food and the things. I just think it's hilarious.
I used to tell my mom I was going to move back into the house and be a stay-at-home daughter.
I love that. I love that. Stay-at-home daughter. What I love about Courtney too is she's very honest with herself and her situations, and I feel like she's very in tune with communicating and her wants and her needs. So she knows that her love life has been full of drama, and part of living at home is she's wanted to stay there until she got married. Unfortunately, it hasn't unraveled the way she thought it was going to unravel. Her heartbreak was Antonio, and we all know about Antonio. And she's dated a bunch of other guys, and it's all been a hot mess. And we've seen that play out on social media as well. And then there's Colt, who is 39. And just my note just says, ugh. Like when he came out, his vibe is just, you guys, it's, ugh. You know what he is? You know what he is, Abby?
Some kind of like parasite.
He is the leader of the incel movement, but he doesn't realize he's that. And he thinks that he is the prize. And it just is fascinating to me. And I would like to know how he always pulls beautiful women. I'm trying to figure it out, because it's not a stellar look. It's not his personality. It's not the eggplant situation. So like it's not like he's a provider. So what is it, women? Because I don't see it.
I know that chubby chasers exist, but you know what? You had Jess on the show at some point.
I sure did.
Ask her if we can see some of the early messages. Maybe he's got some riz that we don't know about.
I will. I'll ask her. So he opens up saying he lives in Orlando with Courtney and her parents. And they met at the singles retreat that we all saw. He hasn't been lucky in love. You know, first it was Larissa. He says that Larissa was the toxic one. I dare to beg differently. Then there was Jess, and he cheated on Jess with Vanessa, married for 3 years. Vanessa left him because she was like, I'm not into this. I don't love you anymore. Okay. Vanessa was his caregiver. Okay. Because he broke his leg way back then when he was filming way back then, and she was his caregiver. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind. Jess, he was in between living at home. His mom found love. His mom was moving to Canada. He had to figure out what he was doing. So he was, not stable. The only time he was slightly stable is when he was with Larissa, because he had a job, but he was still living with his mama. So are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? Live with his mama, relationship 1. Live with his mama, relationship 2. Then went and lived with Vanessa, who was already established in her life. So he's never had to be responsible for anything. And now he's living with Courtney, and he literally said he had nowhere else to go, and he has a long road to recovery. So what did he do? He accepted her offer to be taken care of, because he's only ever been taken care of his whole life, and he has nowhere to go because his mom's up in Canada and he can't go up there and live with her. So guess what? Yeah, I'm coming to use Courtney. He's absolutely using Courtney, and I don't understand why she's putting up with it. Courtney gets him ready to go out. She takes care of him. She's literally his full-time nurse. He pays no rent. He pays no bills. He doesn't even shave his own face. Okay? Ugh. Then I'm like, okay, maybe she just has a big heart. Because there's a lot of people that are like givers and caretakers and providers and all that, and women specifically, right? We like take cares, lovers. Ugh. But they've lived together for a month. Since the show, it's been months, right? It's been 3 months according to this. And they haven't had sex because his plumbing doesn't work well. It makes Courtney feel insecure because it's a wet noodle all the time. And she is now questioning, is he into me or is he here for convenience? Courtney, come closer. He's in it for convenience. Period and full stop. And you are too nice and too kind to not see this. I cannot, Abby. And it's interesting because, that is something that we also do as well. Women, okay? Women, because everything is so about how we look and our size and our shape and booties and the lips and the ears and the eyes and the and we're constantly being bombarded by what the standard of beauty is. And then men, because they're so visual, that's what they see. So we all get caught up in this very lackluster surface level interactions. So we also take on, because men have such fragile egos, we take on their insecurities. And so Colt, I'm going to tell you something, Courtney. Colt has erectile dysfunction. It has nothing to do with you. And even though he's been able to, be with a lot of beautiful women, you're only hearing his take on his wild escapades and how manly he is. You're only hearing it from him. You didn't hear that from Larissa. You didn't hear that from Jess. And you definitely didn't hear that from Vanessa. Okay? He has an erectile dysfunction that he hasn't dealt with. Yes, he's now got a broken leg. He's on meds and all this stuff, but that didn't start just now.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is, and I know Abby said like the chubby chases, all of that, whatever floats your boat is fine, but I promise you that that's part of it. His lack of activity is part of it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Third, his own insecurities that he does not confront, but instead he has bravado. That's part of it too, because when you're faking the funk, your mind can fake the funk, but your body's not going to fake the funk. So I say all that to say that women, we have to stop making it about us and us being insecure because, oh, maybe they're not attracted to us, or maybe they're this, or maybe they're that. Listen, Courtney, you are way out of this man's league and he knows it. So it's not about you.
Mm-hmm.
So he's living at Courtney's parents' house, doesn't pay bills, doesn't pay rent. Courtney is not only not getting any and having to be his full-time caregiver, but she also has trust issues. She has trust issues with men in general because she feels like they lie and cheat, which they do. They do.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically, she has trust issues with Colt because she's seen how he's operated. She's been there from day one. She's a day 1 90-dayer. She was at the singles resort. She saw that he was trying to mac like 2-3 other women. So she knows who he is. Plus, she knows that he's cheated on every woman that he's ever been with. Oh, her friends think that she's going to be a single in a month. And she's starting to feel a little some type of way as well, right? Because she's feeling like a caged animal because she's a full-time caregiver to Colt. And honestly, Abby, I don't see him being appreciative at all. I feel like he's looking entitled and acting entitled. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely, because nothing's wrong with his arms. He could shave his own face. He could do his own laundry. So he's not even taking the initiative to do the few things that he could do.
And I just would like to say, you guys, I mean, he broke his leg and then he broke it again, all the things. But when I was watching the edit, because you guys know, like, this is the industry that I'm in, so I really do pay attention to the edit and the production value of it all. And you know, when we first saw him in episode 2 and he came out of the bedroom, he was on crutches. He could walk. Okay. All of a sudden, halfway through the episode, he has to be wheeled around. He can't walk anywhere. Courtney has to push him everywhere. Courtney has to drive the golf cart because he can't walk. That is BS. It's BS. He doesn't have MS. He has a broken leg, and his broken leg is not even in a cast anymore, which means to me that it's healed. So this whole, like, some people like the whole victim mentality. And if you think about it, what does he have to lose? He doesn't have to pay any bills now. He's got he lives in Florida in a beautiful house. Parents are clearly well off. They talked about how they had, 2 houses by the time that they were Courtney's age. So that's not a factor. He doesn't have to pay any bills. He doesn't even have to do laundry. He puts laundry in a basket and Courtney's mom does the laundry. Okay? He's not buying food. Courtney shaves his face. Courtney gives him facials. Courtney brushes his hair. Courtney dresses this fool. You think that some people don't want to be the star and center of the attention all the time?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to play the victim. That's what Colt is doing. That's it. And that's why she's feeling like a caged animal.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney's at the pool with her friends. She tells her friends that, his thing doesn't work. Meanwhile, Colt's at the house, laying in the bed, talking to his friend Mark, tells him about Courtney and living with the parents and how he feels the energy is weird between them. He feels Courtney's a little too shy. He likes a little spicy. And in all caps, this is what I wrote. He is not attracted to her. He's using her. He is not attracted to her. He is using her.
Mm-hmm. She's his nurse and his sugar mama.
That's it. That's it. Then, okay. He's like Courtney. This is his analogy. Courtney is like Little House on the Prairie. It's a good show, but you get bored with it. And this is where I actually felt offended because you know that you don't care about this girl. You're not attracted to her and you're bored with her, but you then tell her how much you love her, how you want to be with her. And then not only that, because you're lying. So you're lying either to yourself or to her, whatever the case may be, you're lying. Not only that, but you're still a cheater. You're emotionally cheating right now. And I know that if that girl, Diana, was in front of your face, you would physically cheat. So now you're talking to a girl in Brazil that you met just before you went on the single resort. And you were going to go and see her before you fell on your ass at the retreat. And so now you're staying with Courtney. So she's your plan B. Your plan A was Diana, and not only was she your plan A, you continue to talk to her because you're attracted to her and you want to be with her, but you're using Courtney in order to heal to get there. That is a disgusting individual.
Disgusting, diabolical user.
All caps, he is the red flag. No. I want to say so many things about Colt, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to say just no. Absolutely not. He needs to self-reflect. He needs to stop being a terrible individual. The fact that you can't go to your mama says a lot about, because everyone's mama, even if you are a disgusting criminal, your mama's still loving you. Your mama said no. You can't come up here with your broken ass leg and live with us. No. She said no, so you have nowhere to go.
Mhm.
And why do you have nowhere to go? Where were you living before Courtney offered to be your caregiver and come live in Florida? Where were you living? Oh, you didn't have anywhere to live because your wife Vanessa kicked you out because also you were taking advantage of that. So I hate a lazy man. I hate a lazy man. We can care for you and love you, but you can't just be lazy.
Mm-mm.
You can't be a cheater and you can't be a liar. And
Yeah.
then you also can't have like where's the win? Where's the win if it's what?
Tina said it's not even a gummy worm, it's a gummy bear.
Fact. It's not even it's a
So
yeah. Exactly.
Colt said at the top of their segment that he didn't know what was going wrong in his relationships, that just somehow or another things get messed up. You're the mess up. You are the blight in all of your relationships. You are the doom, you are the gloom, you are the sadness, you're everything bad. You bring out the worst in yourself.
That what she said. What she said. The doom, the gloom, the bad vibes, the low vibrations, all of it. You are the common denominator, friend. Anything else before I move on to unfortunately Gino? So,
That's it. Let's not this is like, as I watched this, I was like, Linda is hating watching these segments back to
I
back.
was like, it's too much. And listen, the next episode, because I've already watched it, it gets worse. All right. Gino and Natalie. Again, I'm not sure what's going on with this, Abby, because like, is she from Vegas or is she from DC? Because Gino says in the tea shop, oh, I'm so excited to be on your home turf. I thought she was remotely working in DC. And I
Mhm.
got to tell you that the apartment, first of all, y'all skimped on the apartment. I don't know who the production was, but they were like, we're going to the cheapest apartment that we can get. There is no color, there is no room, there was nothing. I was like,
Production went back to 1984 and got the dish with the brown thread balls. I haven't seen those since I was like 12 or 13.
all of it. I was like, where did they find this apartment? And like, and then see the bedroom that was like 5x5. You have a 5x5 bedroom with like no color. They didn't put one picture up on the wall, nothing, you guys. Just like a white, I don't know, like, I don't know, mental institution looking thing with a hospital bed. Even the sheets were like plain white. I was like, what? Anyways, I'm jumping ahead. It was wild. That's all I'm saying. It's wild, wild. They were like, we don't want to spend money on Gino either. So again, where's her home turf? Is it DC? Is it Vegas? It's like, I don't know. They're sitting in the tea place, and Gino is like, he just landed. I know he's never been to DC before. And he talked the taxi driver's ear off, got dropped off at the tea spot, and then is saying to Natalie, oh, yeah, it's so beautiful here. The beautiful hills, beautiful trees, beautiful parks. And he was going on and on, and she's looking at him, and like my face, yeah, it's all scrunched up. That her face was doing the same thing. And she's like, you seem nervous. Exactly. Exactly. Everything I would keep saying to you guys, where it's like, ooh, that nervous energy, no one likes it. And she called him out on it.
When he said beautiful trees, beautiful parks, I was thinking about when Aretha Franklin was asked what she thought about Taylor Swift, and she was like, beautiful gowns. Beautiful gowns. Yes, beautiful gowns.
Natalie hasn't seen Gino in a year. And she is trying to just figure out what his situation is. Like, what's going on with you? Are you single? Are you separated? Did you get a divorce? Because last year you were less than honest with me. You lied to me about Jasmine. You put me in a situation that was not only dangerous to my mental health, but to my physical health as well. I got attacked by your wife. You did not stand up for me, and you lied about it. And to have your family member say, hey, you just went to eat with Jasmine just yesterday. Are you guys trying to work it out? And for him to answer, well, kinda, was wild to me, Abby. I was like, again, you women, I don't understand it. I don't understand the Colts and the Genos. What is the prize? Please explain it to me. Please explain it to me. Because I know that there are some people that would rather be and say that they're in a relationship than to say that they're single. But like, I'm trying to understand, what is the benefit of being in a relationship with a Colt archetype or a Geno archetype? Please. And that's a true question. I just want to know.
I mean, you kind of answered the question already. There are some people who just think that any piece of a man is better than being alone. And then a piece of a man that I already know is better than having to go find a new piece of a man. And that is pretty prevalent. I mean, in some of the relationships that we see around us, we see our friends with people who are useless. And they're going to stay with them because there's something in them that feels like it's better than nothing.
Kita says maybe something wrong with her brain, or she just is chasing fame from the show because why all caps him?
I don't know. Like, Natalie, there's got to be another way. There's got to be another reality TV show person that you could interact with.
There are way too many reality shows. Yeah, I'm gonna do this with Gino. So this is something funny that I thought she said. That was something that I would have said too, because it shows me how different women and men view things. So if you remember from last episode, Gino said that they had been she DM'd him. She said, hey, you're looking good, you've lost weight, all the stuff. And that was the opening for him to start another new dialogue with her, which he said that he did. Then he said that she invited him to come see her in DC, which is not what happened. He asked her if he could come see her in DC, and she said yes. Okay, so he comes, she meets him outside of her comfort zone. So she says, hey, I'm not going to just say, hey, come to my place. Let's meet at a neutral common ground. We're meeting at the tea house. They meet at the tea house. And she literally says, after asking him, like, are you single? Talking about how he really hurt her, how he deceived her last year. She says, quote, you're here now. What do you want? End quote. Right? Because you invited yourself here. What was the purpose of you coming here? Because no, I didn't invite you here. You were not top of mind. But you think that because maybe I reached out just to be a kind person doesn't mean I want to be with you. And it's funny how men will twist that. It's crazy. Listen, you guys, as you know, I'm not a slide into your DM type of person. I'm just not. And maybe I should be, because it's wild out in these streets. However, if I like a post, or if I like a story, or if I say, hey, congratulations, it's me supporting because I want to be supported in the same way that I support other people. That doesn't mean that, hey, like, hey, baby, hey. No, it never means that, unless a woman is directly saying, hey, I'm interested in you.
It never means that. I'm just letting you guys know. Okay. That being said, she says, you're here now. What do you want? And he's like, I want to hang out with you. I want to start new. I want to have the same good vibes we had in Vegas. And she's like, okay, I believe in forgiveness and second chances. So we'll see. But she's not committing into anything. She's not saying she wants to date him. She's not saying she wants to be with him. And she literally says, I don't trust Gino, which is a common thread with Gino and Colty.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to add anything to that?
Nope, that's about it. Until the next episode.
That was episode 2, you guys. Let us know what you thought. If you're watching the replay, definitely let us know what you thought. And I think my question of the day to all of you guys is going to be this. Would you date, in your mind, a low-value man in order to just say that you were in a relationship? Would you date a low-value man, whatever you consider low value, because it's different for everyone, just to say that you were in a relationship? Would you rather be in a relationship with a low-value man than be single? And especially for us girlies that are 35 and plus, where, society says you should have done all the things. Would you prefer to be in a relationship with a low-value man than to be single? Let's talk about it. Abby,
That is going to be, I just have a thought. That is going to be such a hard question for some people to answer honestly, because people spend so much time pretending that their partner is something other than what they are. And what I mean by that is they'll go out to eat and hand their partner a card under the table to pay so they can pretend that they're the provider. They'll post pictures of themselves with that partner, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever, doing things together. But behind the scenes, they're wearing like matching outfits for Christmas. Behind the scenes, you ordered all of the outfits. You had to fight him to get into the outfit. You had to force him to sit on the couch in a certain place to get the picture taken. Like, none of it was voluntary, but you're happy to present the image that it's #Black love, And I think it would be very hard for some people to divorce themselves from the image they've created of their partner to answer that question honestly.
And I get it, but it's 2026, y'all. The world might be ending. Can we just be real with each other? There's no judgment. This is judgment free. I'm just curious because I know my answer. I don't have the patience, and you all know that. I don't have the patience. I would rather be single than be with someone that is low. And when I say low value, meaning like there are certain things that I don't like, right? So what I consider low value is going to be different than what you consider. It's going to be different than what Abby considers. I can't be like, what we're not about to do is you're going to not have no drive, lazy, lying, cheating. No, absolutely not. For me, it's going to be a no. I'd like to know what your no is. Let's try to be real. 2026, it's wild. All right, guys, we will be back shortly. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Loved having you here. It's been fun doing like back-to-back shows, and we'll see you really soon. Toodles.
Toodles.